What's going on, people? We are back!
Thanks to have you back, KG and Ivy. I missed you a lot.
How are you mentally?
Mentally, I was fine.
I'm trying to do a 3-7 formation.
Don't play
Mickey van der Ven. Spent over £1 billion for you to sit 17th in the table, my friend.
Oh, he's done it again! He's actually got the real one!
The fact that you're telling man like me and KG.
Yes, Abby, stop crying.
Let's calm down for a second.
He doesn't want to come to you now. Do you know what? How stupid this conversation is? How dare you?
Oh no, he's done it!
Get him!
You are absolutely awesome, by the way.
So are
It's great
you.
to
I'm
be
so
back.
glad to be back with you, honey.
Because last week I was thinking, Chelsea are going to have a good season. They're going to be a lot better than they were last year. I still think they will be better than last year, but it's a very worrying situation what I see there yesterday. Number one, they didn't play well as far as I was concerned. For the team that's playing at home, first game of the season. Everybody has first games of the season. Ipswich, I saw their game against Liverpool. Place was buzzing, right? I'm looking at the place looked flat. The fans look worried, right? I heard they were singing Conor Gallagher's name, right? They're bringing on Dewsbury Hall, who's not better than Conor Gallagher, but they're trying to sell Gallagher. That doesn't make sense to me. They paid £88 million for Mudryk. They brought in Pedro Neto. Mudryk didn't even get a game. Raheem Sterling's issuing statements before the game even starts, saying that, I'm ready, I'm fit and ready to play. And, obviously very disgruntled that he's been left out. It looks like they're trying to, force him out of the club, right? They're trying to force various different players that he spent loads and loads of money out of the club. It's an absolute mess at Chelsea from what I can see at the moment. Off the pitch, Todd Bowley gets up and runs off before the end of the game. Those things don't look good. The optics of it. Listen, he might have been trying to get away before the crowds come out. I know how busy it gets down there, but the optics of that don't look good. Then on the pitch, Cucurella run up his mount on Haaland. Haaland just swats him away and scores that goal. All round.
Sanchez for the goal, second goal.
Sanchez for the he's supposed to save that.
You've got 7
you know
others to pick from.
And on top of that, when you mention that, you spent how many Lavia played well, by the way.
Yeah, Lavia was good.
50 million, Lavia?
58 maybe.
Right, 58 million for Lavia, 105 million for Enzo, and 115 million, right, for Caicedo, right? And then the guy that you sold, for 20 million, rocks up 30 million. He scores the winner against you, and you got Conor Gallagher on the bench. You don't even know whether he's going to be at Chelsea or he's going to be at Atletico Madrid. For me, a total and utter mess. I want to hear from Clara Bitsy.
Yeah,
the big Chelsea fan. What are you saying, Clara? Because I need you to explain to me what's going on.
Honestly.
How do you actually feel as a Chelsea fan? Because to me, if I was a Chelsea fan, and I hear what you're saying about Chelsea fans, right? If I'm a Chelsea fan, I'm very worried at this moment in time.
You'd be
because
depressed.
that's not a good... I think they needed something to lift them off. And I think, when I looked at the starting lineup for
It's not
City,
like weak.
I thought there was a chance there.
There was a chance.
Well, this is why you'll probably end up doing not so bad, because you've bought so many different players that there is quality in there. So you're not going to be like, you're not going to get relegated or anything like that because there's too much quality there. But that's not because of, the board buying, good, smart talent. That's not because they've got any idea what's going on or they back a manager. That's because they've bought so much talent, there's too much, that eventually they will be fine. But my biggest concern, if I was a Chelsea fan, is the way that they treat your own players, your either academy graduates or players at your club.
Does it surprise you?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't necessarily surprise me because of what this ownership are like, but it still surprises me because these are academy graduates
that have dedicated their life,
that have come
Chelsea.
Through there. Whether it was Mason Mount before he went to Manchester United, the treatment of him.
6 years old.
Conor Gallagher, captain last season, 37 games. Even Chalobah. Broha, the way that they're treating those players, disgusting. And then on the Raheem Sterling thing, I think he's absolutely right to call them out. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. This is a club that is not showing 1 ounce of respect to their players that have either come through the academy or they've got on their books. And if I was Raheem Sterling, I don't think there's anything wrong with allowing that statement to come out.
I saw that on the club Chelsea club website, they've got 42 players in their squad. 42. right?
don't know.
And you're only allowed a 20-man squad in the Premier League. Yeah, like for the game for yesterday, you can only have 20 players. So obviously players have got to be dropped, but they're obviously trying to get Sterling out. Remember, they still got Lukaku. Honestly, I can't think of a club right now that's in more of a mess.
They're trying to make this
than
so
what Chelsea's
untenable
in.
for those
And
players.
then
They're
on
trying
top
to make
of
it
that,
untenable.
I did have a problem with Enzo being the captain. I'm sorry, right?
Yeah.
I'm not. He may have apologised or whatever. I don't know the full details of that. But especially with what's gone on this summer in this country, to make him captain, that don't seem
Tone deaf.
Yeah, it seems very tone deaf to me, and that just adds on top of the mess that I see at Chelsea. It's crazy right now what's going on.
I don't think Chelsea fans, a lot of them obviously like Matisse, realise and aware of the situation and the potential ramifications of what they're doing now, what could come back on them in 3 or 4 years. But there are some Chelsea fans that don't want to almost accept it. They do think that there is the bright future there. It reminds me of a Rubik's Cube, right? At some point across the season, one of the combinations might work, and you stick with it for a few games, then it might fall down again. You've got that many players that you can interchange and try 4 or 5 different systems, to be honest. But from above to down on the pitch,
4 or 5 teams.
The only glimpse of positivity yesterday was when Neto came on, and it's not like he got a standing round of applause when he came on.
Anything, did he?
They gave him a little clap, but he got to the byline,
player,
put
by
it
the
back, lifted the energy a little bit. But I just.
What happens to Mudryk now?
I don't know.
I was just asking
a poor
you.
buy.
don't know.
I said it at the time.
What's happened to Mudryk?
You've been
I actually
consistent, to be
reacted.
fair,
I
with Mudryk.
reacted to that news on DR Sports when it broke. I think me and Alex were actually doing some news live piece, and I was not excited because I just did not really see or understand why we needed to shell out the amount of money we did on him. And now he's being put in a position where Sterling has to leave, or he's going to be on quality third choice, because Sterling's still a better winger than him, even though Sterling was not great last season at all. He's still a better winger than Mudryk, in my opinion. So you're looking at, but you know, the manager's gonna have to give him a lot of one-to-one time. He needs constant instruction, constant he just needs so much attention. Mudryk, he just needs so much attention. Like, he doesn't have a feel for the game. That's just what it is.
It's a football club, not a nursery.
That's what I'm saying.
But
That's what I'm saying. Like,
It's actually quite weird, because as bad as you were for basically most of last season under Pochettino, obviously I felt like you turned a corner towards the end. I think most people could say that.
5 wins in a row, was it?
Yeah, and I genuinely think, and I totally understand why Poch walked away from that, because it is a circus and it just was never going to align. But I actually feel like if Chelsea would have stuck with him and had some consistency, they might have gone into this season looking a lot better than they have done, because it's someone that's, okay, been here for a year. Some of these players aren't really mine, but you know, we've learned to adapt. Keeping the likes of Conor Gallagher, who knows what it means to play for Chelsea, understands the club, things like that. I'm not saying you can't move on players that you don't want, but I still think you need to understand what your club is about and kind of the nucleus of it. And all I see at Chelsea are all these players that have just been brought in. They don't actually care about your club. They couldn't give a toss. It's because they're there because of the money and what's been, and the long contracts, and they're safe and secure on that. But what your club are doing and making these players who have come through your academy, putting them in this untenable situation where it's like, if they're to go and hand in a transfer request, they waive the right to obviously the rest of their contracts, also signing on fees, etc. They're putting them in a situation that you should never be put in as an academy graduate.
No, it's not nice.
So, Chelsea at the moment, you should call it Chelsea Farm.
Just think about like how
Chelsea
I can
farm.
only imagine like the greats of your club, how they would feel looking at the situation at Chelsea now.
yeah, it's just
Embarrassed.
It's like you don't even know who your club. I don't even know who your club is.
It's unrecognisable. It's a completely different club. It's a completely different ownership. I still don't know what their intentions are in terms of how much they actually want to win trophies, or what their long-term vision is with some of these players they're bringing in. Because even if they do get them right, there's no evidence to say if a big bid doesn't come in, what they do with that bid. I don't know until I see that bid come in. So, but in terms of this current team, I have to judge them after 5-6 games first. I'm gonna leave City where it is, because it is Man City. I said before the game I would have preferred a nicer fixture, because I knew that fixture was a rough one. But like you said, Robbie, I thought we could have got something out of it, because if we had put our chances away, we was on paper and on statistics with City the whole game. It's not like City came and just brushed us aside and like it was no competition. We had chances, we just didn't take them.
Do you think Enzo Maresca will be there at Christmas?
Yeah, he has to be. It's non-optional. But again, if he's not, that's not on him. That's on the hierarchy. because they've hired him. They've hired him. They've put out all of the sound bites. They've put out all the briefings. They've put out all of the propaganda saying that he's the one long term, fits the vision, the philosophy. If you don't stick with him for multiple seasons, forget just this season, then again, your recruitment strategy from a managerial standpoint, player standpoint, is a problem. I always say sporting directors are sporting directors. They're not just signings. We're talking about staff, we're talking about medic, we're talking about managers. You have to get all of that right. You are in charge of the sporting side of the club. And if you get that wrong, the club is in a it's in a bad situation.
How long is Todd Bowley going to be there for?
He's there.
It's his club. What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
It's his
What do you mean? He's there.
It's his club.
It's his
But
club.
he's not one to be
but hang
mentioned
on, is there a
because you know it's
point
Ed
where-
Barley the one that's making the decisions, not Todd Bowie. People keep mentioning
the
Todd
pair
Bowie's
of them,
name.
the
Yeah,
pair
but
of
no,
them.
seriously. People
But
keep
is there-
mentioning.
my question leading off that was going to be, is there a point where it gets to where there's like almost a revolution with the fans and they chant
I don't believe that's
get them out?
I don't believe that's realistic. Arsenal fans tried it with the Kroenkes. Man United fans tried it with the Glazers. It doesn't work. It didn't work. So you're not moving an ownership, in my opinion. But what I will say is, it's not Todd Bowie that's running the club. It's Egbali and it's Clear Lake Capital. That's what people need to understand.
Okay.
This is a consortium. It's not one man. He's been made the face of it because he's the one that's, saying that we'll beat Madrid 3-0. He's walking with the fans, taking pictures. He's at the ground. He's the face of it. Cool. But if you're talking about majority shareholders, it's not him. And I don't even know if they all even agree with the way that they're going forward right now. So, man, let's
no
see.
football club is ever going to be successful if it's not run properly. I don't care. And I think Chelsea are proving that. It doesn't matter how much money you spend, right? If that thing is not run right, it will not work. And, the clubs that, like City, which is, a very well-run club. Arsenal now is very well-run. Liverpool, clubs like Brighton, these clubs. That's why they do well.